Here's Mark Haney.
Welcome back, and I have been looking forward to this interview for many, many moons, and I am here with Gary Barron, co-founder of Rockland CrossFit. How you doing, Gary?
Great, Mark. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. I am so much looking forward to this because you have really put the hurt on me at CrossFit, and I've got to do a little payback today. Is that okay?
I'm expecting nothing less.
Sweet. Okay. Now, just a question too. How do you know if your friend is doing CrossFit? How do you know?
Because you're going to see it on social media, and they're going to talk to you and everybody about it.
He will freaking tell you. If your friend is doing CrossFit, you will know about it. He'll be having sore muscles. He'll be talking about how difficult the training was. So Gary, I remember my first day at CrossFit, and it was 5:30 in the morning, and I didn't really realize that what time. I knew that the thing started at 5:30, but I walked in at 5:30 exactly. I got to the warm-up line at 5:31. And do you remember what you told me? You said, yeah, you didn't say hello. You didn't say hi, welcome, Mark. You said, Mark, you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Something like that. Plus, I think it was closer to 5:32, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing your story. Why does America love CrossFit?
It's not only America, it's the world. It's taken the nation, it's taken the whole world by storm over the last probably 3 years ago. It was really in the boom phase.
Okay.
There's a lot of affiliates that are open now, and it's a community. It's a really cool, tight-knit community.
So it seems like a lot of people are addicted to CrossFit. What drags them in? Is it the community, or what's most liked?
People always want to get healthier. People always want to get better. And hey, Mark, what are you doing lately? Oh, I'm trying this new CrossFit thing. It's kind of like a boot camp, but it's a little bit harder than that. And it's just, again, it's a community. I'm relying on you to kind of get me there, hold me accountable. And once you're there, you're kind of going through the battle together in the workout and chasing somebody or getting chased after, trying to perform the workout at its task. And then you just kind of all improve together.
Is CrossFit harder than other exercise routines?
I'm a little biased, but I would definitely say if you put the intensity there, it's the hardest thing you can do.
Yeah. Why is it so hard? What do you do that's so different, that's so hard?
Full compound movements. Every day in life, you're using your legs, your upper body, your back, your biceps, your triceps. So if you're going to go into a regular gym and isolate, you're not helping your life function. For bodybuilders, and that's what they want to do, absolutely, totally fine. But if you're looking for overall general functionality for your life and kind of avoid decrepitude down the road or the nursing home syndrome, then you're going to need to train your entire body every single day.
Are there some people that say you're more likely to get injured in CrossFit?
Oh, of course. You're going to get hurt if you're in CrossFit. That's the stigma. Absolutely. There is some truth to that, just like driving. You're going to get in an accident if you drive. Is that always true? Not necessarily. There's a lot of negligent places out there, unfortunately, and people who just aren't really paying attention. It's one of the things that helps sets us apart is we're structured, we coach, we make sure that we hold everybody accountable, because we don't want you to get hurt. It's not going to be good for you. It's not good for me. It's not good for the business. And it's not good for community as a whole. So we want to make sure that you're doing the right things with the right levels of intensity, so long as you have the mechanics to make sure that you're safe.
Okay, well, let's talk about your business a little bit, Gary. How did you get started in the business?
I started just as a personal trainer in a corporate gym, 12 years ago, I think. While working in and out. It was a really good compliment to each other. And then eventually kind of worked out on my own, opened a couple of garage gyms, and then became a head trainer over at SST, which was speed strength training in Rockland, California. And eventually just bought him out. My living situation at the time, I wound up moving in with one of the clients of SST when I was their coach because he had an open spot. Created an injury on myself doing something foolish. So I was bedridden for a little bit and a lot of time to think. And I thought I had all the know-how about running a business because my father owns a business. My sister's in the business side. My partner, or not at the time, but my roommate at the time, he had a lot of extra capital lying around. So we just kind of put it together and decided to put in an offer to buy the gym.
And that's Todd, right?
That's Todd Wygant. Yep.
And Todd, and you started the gym right across inside CalFit?
Inside CalFit, yep, in a little corner in CalFit.
And Todd has been there. Todd helped you out during that tough time. Is there anything you would say to Todd right now in terms of how you feel about him jumping in and becoming a partner with you?
Oh, it was great timing. At the time when I was hurt again, I wasn't making any income, and now I can't pay him rent. He's a firefighter too, so part of that brotherhood is, well, I'll do a couple of your extra shifts to help you get back on your feet. And of course you'll pay it back in the long run, whatever. But unfortunately, my boss at the time didn't allow that, so that kind of was the catalyst to be like, well, let's get something going. So I thought that was wonderful. That and one other guy was doing the same thing too. Just a really cool, that was the start of the community, the brotherhood, if you will. And I'm not used to that because I was doing personal training type stuff and just CrossFit on my own in my garage. So that was kind of the start of, wow, this CrossFit thing is really neat. People are really there to get your back.
And in terms of business partners, how do you and Todd break up the responsibilities?
So he's a really good idea guy. He's got all kinds of great ideas to marketing and get people in. And so he's more the artsy side of it, if you will. I'm more the mechanical side where get them in, and I'm going to keep them in, whether it be me having the right interaction with the members or coaching the coaches to interact with the members in order to stay positive face and just make sure that we're doing the right thing, just keeping the members there.
So CrossFit, you look at the demographics of CrossFit, it's ages 25 to 35. It's very white. It's about half men, half women. It seems like it's perfect for Rockland, but how would CrossFit do in the inner city?
There are some good inner city CrossFits out there. Obviously, not as popular because not necessarily everybody can afford it because it is expensive. But what you get for it's actually really cheap. There's a lot of the youth going in there and nonprofit organizations doing CrossFit at local high schools and everything, which is a fantastic idea to help kind of keep kids off the street and just get them involved with the community, and even working out with fellow teachers or other people that are older, and just keeping them out of the streets and keeping them out of potential trouble.
And I know that you guys did something at Rockland CrossFit called CrossFit for Cancer. Can you share that story?
Yeah, so we had a member several years ago, and he had an autistic son, and he wound up coming down with a really bad stage in cancer. I don't exactly remember which type it was, but regardless, all cancer is bad, especially on an 8-year-old. And he was really having a hard time financially and mentally coping with everything too. And we just put together a big fundraiser, had some volunteers from the gym, put on like a little cookout, barbecued some stuff. People came in for face painting and blowing up balloons for kids, and had a nice little fundraiser. And we ultimately ended up raising, I believe, just over $9,000 for him in one day.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool. And he was touched, and I still stay in contact with him. He just came back in the other day just to kind of say hi. So it's a community. You're not going to see that at any kind of corporate gym or 24-hour CalFit, not to stab on those guys, but you're just not going to see that. Because everybody in there, they got their heads down or looking at the mirrors to watch their muscles grow, and their iPhones in their ears.
So talking about community, you're entrenched in the CrossFit community. You're a world-class athlete. So tell us about what it takes to become a world-class athlete and the greater CrossFit community that you're involved with.
I wouldn't say world-class athlete, at least not anymore, maybe a few years ago. It takes a tremendous amount of dedication and just a great support team. If you're, we're on our team that we've competed in the CrossFit Games, World Championships, for people who don't really know what CrossFit is. Everybody's got a job. Not all of them are coaches or work at a CrossFit gym or anything like that, and they might have family. So it just takes a tremendous support system, from your spouse, significant others, having the kids understand, like, oh, you have to dedicate X amount of hours to the gym every day, and sorry guys, I can't have that apple pie tonight because I have a competition coming up in 2 days. It's really a lot of discipline. It's a full-time job trying to get your body ready to effectively peak at the time of need.
Right. At CrossFit too, I've been going for 6-7 months now at Rockland CrossFit, and I enjoy it. But some of the terms associated with CrossFit they're very provocative in nature. Hang snatch, Turkish get up, AMRAP, EMOM, split jerk. That's kind of, the WOD is my favorite, I think. And people are always saying, how long is the WOD today, Gary? Or how hard is it and stuff like that. Now, how did you guys arrive at these different terms for CrossFit?
Yeah, it's just been going on through the years. Like snatch and split jerks and cleans, that's been around for hundreds of years. That's Olympic lifting terms right there.
Okay.
But like the WOD and like, hey, you want a WOD today? Don't blow your WOD in the first minute of the workout,
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of jokes about that. But WOD is just simply workout of the day. We all have our just different language. It's a cult. It's a little bit of a cult, absolutely.
It does keep it light. It is fun. I know the atmosphere at Rockland CrossFit is super cool. I mean, like today, you brought in Aries, your dog, and I know it. Every once in a while, I'll see the dog at 5:30 in the morning. Of course, I'm going later in the day these days. Marcus is now going as well at 9:30, so I'm trying to join him. What's it take? What would you say a person like me, 52 years old, can get out of CrossFit?
Whatever you want. You know, if you want to just go in just to sweat, just to burn a little bit of calories, so you can have that extra whatever glass of wine a night, then that's fine. Or if you want to really, you know, it takes time because you want to get the mechanics down, you want to get the form and the technique down. You don't want to do anything that's going to hurt you, but it just takes a little bit of time, investment of your time, and then down the road you're like, wow, I just did that. I did a 115-pound snatch or whatever. I cleaned 200 pounds. So that's going to be that next motivating factor to, cool, well, I want a little bit more. I want a little bit more. All right, cool. We're going the prescription or the RX on a workout. You know, say the workout calls for a 135-pound snatch. And you're like, I can't quite do that, but that's the next goal. I want to be able to complete that at that, you know, potential load. So that's going to just challenge you and push you a little bit more. It's not all about getting the fastest time or, you know, lifting the heaviest weight. It's what you can kind of do, encompassing all the elements to now get you essentially better. You know, you're going to increase your fitness. You're going to be more fit, which is going to help you in everything else in life.
We spoke about Detective Michael Davis earlier, Placer County Sheriff Department. He was someone that you were very close to. His end of watch was October 24th, 2014. What did the Rockland CrossFit family do in response to that tragic death?
That was a really close to home one for myself. You know, family ties with him. And my niece goes to Rockland CrossFit. She's one of my members. She also does childcare for us too, which was his daughter. And his other daughter lives in Southern California. So this is obviously very close to home. Needed some financial help for the kids and their college education and everything. So we just put together another one of those fundraisers similar to CrossFit for Cancer. And the whole community really stepped up significantly with shirt sales. And again, just, you know, volunteering their time and their efforts to come in. And I put a little hero workout, if you will, specifically designed for him with the numbers correlating with his unfortunate time of death or date. And over, you know, the course of that week, we generated about $15,000. Wow. Got my nieces in contact with another phenomenal member. He heads a big scholarship program, typically just for people, inner city kids right out of high school. But given the circumstances, they're already in college. He, you know, pulled some strings and got them some significant amount of money to help specific for their college education. So,
from what I've seen, the culture is in any organization is the kind of collective value system and collective set of philosophies that people have, and I think in many cases it starts at the top with you, Gary, and with Todd. Where did you develop your philosophies for how to run a business and how to create the culture at Rockland CrossFit?
Don't have a legit answer for that. It's just been a lot of falling on my face. Me and Todd, you know, we have some kind of complex business decisions, so we'd be really intelligent, get a quarter out and flip a coin. I'm like, all right, heads we do this, tails we don't. And actually, we did a lot of big decisions that way, which so far has seemed to work out very well.
What's a complex decision?
Back when we were in the CalFit still, deciding when to put up a big rig. You know, it was a multi-$1,000 investment, and things weren't super booming at the time yet for us, so we decided, hey, let's just take a chance and do it. And it's really grown significantly since then. And actually that rig is in storage, you know, so things have definitely taken off. But that's just one of the basic things, or just different deciding to do, you know, let's pay X amount of money for some advertising things, which we're both kind of, I don't know. Sometimes it didn't work. We learn from it. My father being an entrepreneur, he owns his own business in Penryn, auto repair shop, and have a lot of good conversations with him about how to effectively run or try to run or manage a business. You know, I have a lot of phenomenal resources. I'm blessed with all the members that I have because everybody has a profession that's there. So talking to you, for instance, you know, you're great on the entrepreneur and you really try to hype that up and help the community. So I'm just surrounded and blessed with amazing people to help me out.
What did your father say when you were doing so much weightlifting in high school?
To not and to get a job. Said I'm never gonna make a living that way.
What's he say now?
He was kind of eating his words when I brought that up to a couple months ago. It was pretty funny. And even when I decided to like, hey, this is what I'm doing, my business venture. I'm gonna buy a gym and make it a CrossFit gym. And this is long before they were really popped up like they're Starbucks now. And he just said that's a kind of a foolish idea. He didn't want to stomp on my dreams or anything, but he was like, you should really rethink and make sure that you're there. And it was just my heart was there. If your heart's there and you're passionate and you have the time and ability to work, it's going to be successful if you really try.
Yeah. How do you like me now, Dad?
Yeah.
Now I know you have big dreams, and we're down to the last couple minutes of this segment, but I wanted to do a CrossFit lightning round. And so you got like 2 or 3 seconds to answer the question. So really quick lightning round. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Biggest benefit of CrossFit.
Functional health.
Toughest part about CrossFit.
The mental push in the middle of a workout.
Best trained athletes in the world.
CrossFitters.
Pound for pound, the best athlete in the world.
Mark Haney.
Okay. Date, you will get married.
Undecided.
Okay. Business challenge that most likely would keep you up at night.
Just going over the numbers. Just running a business.
And when you have a personal success story, Gary, who is the first person that you call?
Todd and Amy. Amy's my girlfriend. Todd's my business partner.
Very cool. This is Gary Barron, Rockland CrossFit. He has tortured me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Today we got a chance to bring out his story a little bit, and I want to thank you, Gary, for coming on the show. I want to thank Mike and Tino Phillips for sharing their story of BJ's Restaurants and Buck and Sadie's. And I want to thank our newest sponsor, Limitless Limo. Even Snoop Dogg likes to ride in Limitless Limo. I know we gave him a ride the other day. And Limitless Limo, it's a really high-end custom Sprinter van, Mercedes, with monitors in there where you can actually go crazy with what's displayed on those monitors. If it's advertising or a special message to somebody you're about to marry, you can take a limo van and a Limitless Limo ride, and it is definitely a big boy ride. And next week, we will meet the legendary Jim Floor. He's an all-American success story, and you are guaranteed to be inspired. You're also going to meet the newest business partner in the Haney Garcia Realty team. You're going to meet Kelly Pressler. She'll be coming on, and we'll be sharing a little bit about her entrepreneurial dream that she's launching in Lincoln, California. Stick around, because coming up after the break, I'm going to share a decision that I made about 17 years ago, and I think it's going to be an interesting story, and it ties back to the hellish football practice that Mr. Poole put me through several years again. I'm Mark Haney. You're listening to Entrepreneurs Unlimited on KHTK Sports 1140, streaming live, podcast, and YouTube at haneybiz.com.
Once again, here's Mark.
Welcome back. And we heard from Gary Barron and Mike and Tino Phillips about their lessons they learned the hard way. And, Mike talking about the way he thought outside the box when he was going to get his initial financing to launch BJ's Restaurants. And he brought in a minority so that he was more likely to get the financing he needed from Small Business Administration. Thought that was very interesting. And there's so many lessons that we learn from difficult situations, from setbacks. Like my story about Mr. Poole, and at the beginning how we started off the season, 1-3, and somehow we came back. But it was that practice, that brutal practice, that really resonates with me more than anything, because it was such a difficult practice, and just how we learned such stories from these difficult times. And it reminds me of a story that happened 17 years ago. Things were going great for us in a way. We had 12 video stores. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm coaching football. I'm coaching Marcus. I'm coaching Little League. I think we won the championship that year in baseball, won the state championship in football. The company, our surveillance company, it's up at like 35 million in sales. It's really grown from like 0 to 35. Got the world by the tail, or do I? So it starts unraveling a little bit, and one of my key players, Kelly, comes up to me, and I'm sitting up in my office, I remember, because I was doing so many things with the video stores, the coaching, and the surveillance business. And she says, "Hey, Mark, we've grown so fast, a lot of stuff's getting broken in terms of system, right? It's hard for me to get an order out the door. It's hard for me to do this and that." And the other thing, so Kelly called to my attention how we needed to improve. And the other thing that was happening at that exact time, we had grown so fast, our balance sheet looked horrible. We were in debt up to our eyeballs. We had grown sales, but our debt was incredible. And we weren't really very profitable, right? So I'm doing all this crazy stuff, and I'm sitting up in my office. And I think that moment I went, wow, I need to go down on that sales floor and put myself down into the trenches with Kelly and the other members of the team and really just lead from the front, maybe similar to the way Coach Poole thought that I ought to do. Well, I didn't. I procrastinated. And Kelly came up to me a few months later and she quit and she went to work for the competition. And we lost several people to the competition in that time frame. And our sales went from 35 million to 25 million. But I went down onto that sales floor, and Todd Flowers, my business partner on SSI, we both pulled out a card file box and began calling customers and doing our best to try to lead, to make the decision to lead. And I think it was that decision that really set up the growth of our companies. We ended up opening, a lot more companies and growing revenues up to over 200 million, and eventually, selling. But it was that tough time when you lose employees to your arch rival, to the competition, and you have your sales drop and you're closing video stores because the video store industry is going down the tubes. Those are tough times. And I think just the lesson I take of it is you've got to make the decision to lead. There's times in your life when you have to be the guy as the entrepreneur, not to sit up in the office and hang back and hope all these other guys keep it going. You got to get out in the middle. You got to start calling, hey, time to run the wind sprints, guys. You can't rely on somebody else to do it. You have to do it if you want to make sure that you find a way to change what's going on. So if you're happy with the status quo, hey, maybe sit back and hang back. But if you are ready to make a change in your business and in your life, you've got to be the guy that steps up and does that. And, the setbacks in life, they never end. The adversity that we're going to face in our life, it never ends. And the lessons in life, they never end. So I want to thank Kelly and Coach Poole for teaching me a little bit of a lesson. It's helped me over the last several years. And tell you what, if you're not growing, as Marcus said earlier, if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not learning in this life, you're dying. And I guess it means if you're not failing somewhat, you're dying too. And all I know is I'm going to CrossFit and I'm too young to die at this moment. So you know what? God bless all of us who are fighting the good fight, still learning, still figuring out the best way to fight for what we believe in, to build businesses for our families, and hopefully we can muster up the courage to lead from the front with a violence of action, similar to the way Braveheart. Remember Braveheart? Remember that movie Braveheart? Where Mel Gibson, he's William Wallace, and he's inspiring his troops, and he's saying, let's go do that. He didn't run to the back of the cavalry. No. He went to the front with the spear in hand and said, let's do this. And guess what? He didn't have to look around him to see if people were following him. They were following him, and they were making noise, and he could hear them at his footsteps, and they charged, and they figured out a way to win. Never above you, never below you, always by your side.